my name's Angharad Jenkins and I'm a fiddle player and a singer from Swansea in South Wales. I'm absolutely delighted to be contributing to this little series of tutorials as part of the Lews Castle College and HebCelt Festival series. Before I start, I've been asked to answer a couple of questions. So what does my local traditional music mean to me? Well, it was kind of inevitable that I was going to get into traditional music because my parents were fans of traditional music. I used to go to the Pontardawe folk festival every year as a child, which was a really great festival local to us back in the day, and huge international folk acts used to come, like Bottine Souriant is one that I remember as a child. But my mum also is a harpist and played in a couple of bands, Cromlech and Aber Jabber, and so the story goes, she used to rest the harp on her pregnant bump with me. So it's kind of inevitable really that the music, by process of osmosis, sort of seeped through to me. I have a huge affinity to the music and culture of other Celtic nations. In fact, in particular, the fiddle music of Scotland has been a huge inspiration to me all over the years. I'm delighted to present a couple of our traditional pieces of music with you, and I thought, seeing as this is part of the music and the environment and local traditional music, I thought I'd play two pieces which are as local as you can possibly get to where I am in Swansea. Local has been sort of the flavour of the year with lockdown, hasn't it? So the first one is a well-known song called Farewell I Llangavelach Lon. Now, I've picked this because Llangavelach is a small village that I drive through from my house on the way to the M4. So it's my gateway to the rest of the world. But for folky people, it's a song about basically a soldier leaving Llangavelach and going off with the English fleet and leaving this young girl at home. And she waits patiently for his return. And guess what? He comes back and they get married and they live happily ever after. No drama. Quite unusual, eh, for a folk song. So I'll sing it to you. I'll just sing the first verse. This is the first of 13 verses, which goes like this. Farewell I Llangavelach Lon, ar merched ifanc I gyd o'r bron. Rwy'n mynd I weld pa un sydd well, a'i gwlad fy hun neu'r gwledydd pell. Fa la 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 la. So it was written, I think, in the 18th, 19th century, a ballad that appeared on lots of pieces of paper, written by someone called James Turberville, but has been covered. It's a very popular song in folk music circles, but also some of the biggest Welsh language rock bands have done versions of it. So people like Edward H. Davies in the 70s and more recently Cowboys Dros Botwnog. But if you want folky versions, you can look for Meredydd Evans or Sian James. So I'm going to play it now as an instrumental version. I'm doing it in A minor, so all the white notes on the piano, no sharps, no flats. I'll just quickly run the scale for you, for anyone just wanting to know where your fingers go and wanting to hear where we are. And I'll do it down the octave as well, because this is one of those tunes that fit on the 2 octaves on the fiddle without having to bother to change position. So it's quite nice to mix it up if you're doing it. So this is the lower scale of A minor. So the verse has 4 lines and then a little fa la la bit, which would not probably be played by a whistle or an instrumental version. So it goes like this. So that's the whole of the verse one time through the tune. The first line is repeated at the end as a fa la la if you were singing it. So I'll play it again now with a few more embellishments. I like to add in just an open E string. It fits with the harmonic palette that we're in, and it can give it a bit more welly and a sort of emotional impact as the soldier goes off. So. And there you can add the lower E if you fancy as well. A drone, just open A and the lower E, or open E. I'm just adding a few little cuts here and there just to add a little more interest. They aren't essential. This is basically a very simple tune because it's a song and it's very, very free. It is probably in 2 time, but you can really pull the rhythm around. It's a very lyrical piece of music. So I'm sort of leading into that note there. I'm doing a little roll there. That's very slowly. So B, C, B, A. I'm going up to 3rd position. Not necessarily have to, but a cold open E string sometimes sounds a little bit piercing, so I'm warming it up by going up to the 3rd position there. That roll again there. again, I'm ending in third position there, just so it's not a stark open A string, but it's just how I do it. It doesn't matter really. So I'll play it a few more times in the higher octave and the lower octave, and I'll sing it as well. So do join in. Hopefully you've heard it enough now to get it. So... Farwell I Langafelach lon, ar merched ifanc I gyd o'r bron. Rwy'n mynd I weld pa un sydd well, a'i gwlad fy hun neu'r gwledydd pell. Fa la 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 la. So the second tune I'd like to play you is a dance tune called the Swansea Hornpipe, or in Welsh, Pibddawns Abertawe, Abertawe being Swansea in Welsh. And this tune is probably more comfortable played on a harp because it's based on arpeggios and broken chord patterns. And I think the person sort of responsible for sort of passing this on so that we play it today is a Romany gypsy harpist called Jarman, and her family were a very important family in making sure that traditional Welsh folk music is still played today, because during the 1800s, when the religious revival was really taking hold and people were told to put their fiddles away in the roofs and under beds and sort of forgotten about, the Romany gypsies kept playing this music, and people like Eldra and Nancy Richard taught then Nancy Richards, and people like Robin Hugh Bowen, who if you're into harp music, I'm sure you will have heard his name and his music. And it's he who plays this tune, and also a couple of fiddle players called Gerard and Bernie Kilbride, who that's where I've heard the fiddly version of this. So I'll play it to you. It feels a bit like an exercise almost. It gets those fingers working as it jumps around the fiddle a lot more in steps and arpeggios. So it's in D major, and it goes like this. quite a contrasting piece to our first one. So as I mentioned, it's in D major. So I'll just go over that scale very quickly. So we've got F sharp and C sharp. And the structure is very much like a standard folk dance tune. There's an A section which is repeated and a B section which is repeated. Now in this one, the A part goes like this. It's based on a D major arpeggios and G arpeggios and then scales running down to lead us back in. I'll show you what I mean. So that's the first bit. Last time. And then the next verse. And then it goes back to the beginner bit. Sure I get it right. That's the last phrase to finish us off, which is basically a G major arpeggio. I'll put those bits together. So it's sort of two very similar arpeggio sections joined by a descending scale and then ended with a G major arpeggio. But that's one whole A. So I'll play that at the right tempo. Now, a lot of the groove in this is in the bowing, and I don't think I'm going to have time to sort of go into detail with that. But if you watch carefully, you might get some of it. I'm sort of linking it in uneven sort of 2s and 3 patterns over the bridge and over the bar lines and things like that. I'll just do it once more and take a look at what the bow is doing. It's quite crucial actually, because if the bowing isn't right, it becomes quite a challenge to play. So it's quite a lot of attention needs to be put into this to get the sort of it flowing well. So I just realised that the camera has chopped off a lot of my bow, but you might, as a fiddle player, you probably can sort of get a feel for what I'm doing. And the B part goes like this. and then ends with something we're all familiar with already. So the B part has got one new idea to start with and then returning to the A idea. So I'll play the two B parts now in full. You will have noticed then that I was pushing and anticipating some of the notes just to, again, give it a little bit more groove so it feels less of an exercise and makes you want to dance a bit more, I hope, anyway. So I'll play the whole piece now, 2 A's, 2 B's, and so you can really see how all the sections fit together. But it's harmonically very simple, based a lot on arpeggios and scales. It's just figuring out where they all fit. So here it goes, and take note of my bowing and where I'm sort of anticipating and pushing some of those. I do it in different places every time, really, but you can sort of take this idea and put them where you feel you'd like to do it. Okay. And there we have it, 2 tunes, Farweli Langavelach Lon, a beautiful Welsh song, and the Swansea hornpipe. So I hope you've enjoyed these sessions, and I hope I can get up to HebCelt Festival one day. Ta-da!